1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I was about to get started recording. Do you need something? I'm trying to
No,
get my software started and I just hear the door going.
I just came to say hi, and I love your face. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye. Alrighty, and welcome back to our very rainy little Halloween district. Currently, I'm not going to focus on texturing the pumpkin today. I'm going to be finishing up the interior of these buildings. And then I'm going to be working on mainly the river's edge. Because there's a bit of terraforming that needs to be done. I need to take down this little divider. I'm going to try to turn this direction for this, but... There's this little divider that's blocking off a bit of the river's edge from me. I want to take this down. Kind of almost flatten off this edge a little bit. And then do a little bit of a dock over here. Also want to tidy up the water's edge a little bit. Because swamps don't necessarily have the best, like, water's edge areas. I do have glass bottles, so I can turn a bit of this into mud. Like, I'll have to dig it back up, turn it into dirt, and then turn it into mud. So that I can, make it look a little bit more textured. Or at least that's the plan. I also have pale oak growing over here because all the trees we have around. Try and zoom in as far as I can. But down here next to the... I'm trying to block out as much as other people's builds, but this area is kind of condensed, so you'll have to forgive me on that one. But you can see kind of these pale oak trees. I want to try to duplicate these next to my area. But I need the tree to grow first. Because I need saplings first and foremost. I don't think I have any more bone meal. Oh, I do. I do have bone meal. There we go. Because I need saplings first and foremost. Not to mention I do need the wood for stuff. But when I come inside in order to talk, because it is very loud out there. But the interior of this place is meant to be a bit of a diner. So I'm going to have a kitchen back up against this wall with a counter going across here. Apparently Josie, whenever she walked past this, thought this was like a little bit of a ballroom. I love that idea, but it's meant to be more like a greenhouse-esque, dining area. You know how some, dining areas have like an indoor-outdoor? Since this area is meant to be more of a creepy aesthetic, I feel like people would feel safer inside. So to have that outdoor feeling on the inside of a building, I decided to put like a little bit of a greenhouse off the side of the building. Or the side of the pumpkin. I'm gonna keep myself turned this way, so you can't really see what's going on the edges of my screen. But you see these gray trees that are all around the place? Those are the trees I'm talking about. Those are the tree designs we have for this area. So my plan is to build a few more of those trees and to terraform a bit. Because if I was looking at the map correctly, Grazer's setting up right there, which means I kind of need to define where the edge of my area is, which I kind of have. It's like right about here. This little peninsula area is kind of my area. And that's where I'm going to try and stick to. I'm not going to try to get too big of an area. Okay, now the original on the interior, I actually had a chandelier-esque thing coming from this spot. But I think I'm going to change up how I'm doing that, just to make it feel like it has a bit more of an overgrown feel on the interior of this, is I want to turn this into a very green zone. Like how I have my nether portal in the shopping district, how the inner dome piece is overgrown. I'm going to do the same thing in here. And subtly find out ways of covering up the bits and pieces. Don't worry about it. I will slowly figure it out. Okay, and there we go. The back wall is mainly done. I still have to go up and do the roof in order to cover up these little, like, wooden bits here. But this back wall is done. Now, this goes back into the kitchen. there's still some like small detail things I want to do. Like I have some like foods and stuff I can throw back here, but I have to go back to my original base to do that, and I've already done that once this episode. I don't want to go through and do that again. So we're going to leave the small detailing stuff for a little bit later. For right now, this kitchen is done. Now this is a register and this is the bar. Most diners have some sort of bar seating, but these, since we do have a sit mod, you can actually sit in these. So it is practically bar seating. We do have, well, I want to go in through the employee entrance, but this is the kitchen. We have just random bits of storage, a whole prep cook space. I do plan on with the, this is the serving thing. This is where the servers would pick the food up and either hand it off across the table or pick it up and then run it out. So this is the finished stuff. This is where the foods are going to go. This is the prep station where I'm probably going to throw some ingredients and stuff in item frames. I'm going to have somebody walk me through how to do the item frame thing so I can actually do some pretty cool stuff with item frames. So I can get things like eggs and sugar and stuff just kind of strewn about. I do have this, which kind of looks like potatoes or something of the sort. I want to say some sort of food. I may go through and like try to find some iron, like some raw iron, and do that instead because that would look more like potatoes. I don't know. Just copper was the main thing I was able to get my hands on, so that's what it ended up being. And then we have our sink area with a bunch of open storage for the dishes to go on. A towel rack. Yes, that is a towel rack. I used a ladder for it. Best thing I could find to represent that. So, there it is. And then, of course, some extra storage for things like cups and stuff like that. I see these as being cabinets, like you can open these. And then, of course, the employees only area where they can come up here on break and eat. But that is the counter space area. Oh, and it is now raining. I think I'm actually going to pull Poltergeist into here, and I'm probably going to put them like on the corner over here next to the register. Just so it looks like they're running the register right now. Took a little bit of time and a little bit of shoving because Minecraft cats never want to go where you want them to. So now Poltergeist is where I want them to be. I need to come back in with some dark oak stairs and do some lining on the interior of this. And in the very few places where the roof is visible, I need to go ahead and fill those in. But this is what I've done with this area so far. It definitely gives the greenhouse effect that I was wanting. And there we go. The interior roof line of this is now complete. Now, I don't know how this would look outside. Yeah, it's barely noticeable outside. Well, except for the particle effects, but the particle effects are given. You can kind of see it through that window. A little bit. Okay, and this is kind of the idea. I want to go completely overgrown. I'm going full cottagecore and going kind of less spooky, more fun. Because my first idea was to go like full gothic, like ballroom thing, but I was like, no, I'm doing a cafe. I need to do something cutesy. Still end up leaning gothic to some degree. I say I wanted to lean more cutesy, proceeds to do that type of roof. Next thing I need to do is terraform a bit of this area, because this area I kind of wanted to kind of cup it back in. I want to cup this back in, so keep this kind of closed off. I want to keep this kind of accessible, because I am going to come down this way and do another bit of this down here. But essentially, I'm just going to put like a tree or two over here and just overgrow most of this, because this is not a focal point. This area is. But I'm going to put in a few pumpkin patches down through here. And then over here is going to be a mausoleum, because my character in this area is a ghost. So I'm gonna do like a small mausoleum right here on top of this hill. Okay, that area is gonna grow back a little bit at a time, but now that area isn't as a wall keeping me back. Now I can just do a little bit of a dock up here so that if people are boating around the swamp, which I don't think they would be, but it just makes sense. They're right on the waterfront. There would be something here. I actually want to bring in a bit more of the stone brick because the stone brick's also going to be a part of the mausoleum. So I kind of want to bring a bit of it in as walls. To the pumpkin patch. So there's going to be like pieces of maybe broken down wall. Now I've got that little bit of area figured out. My next goal is to run through and throw some coarse dirt on the ground and maybe a bit of rooted dirt because I want it to look as though, well, it's a pumpkin patch. I don't want it all grass. Also gonna need a buttload of spruce trapdoors. Okay, and here we go. The actual growing pumpkins will grow up over time. I'm not gonna waste my bone meal on them. I think I'm going to throw in a bit more greenery around this just to make it feel a bit more overgrown. I think I want to throw a few sea pickles on like a handful of the pumpkins. Also, yes, this form of lighting is a little bit more faint, which is the reason I have to do so much of it. I did throw a few of these lanterns in, and there are frog lights beneath this, so those put out full light, and so do these lanterns. So I am slowly lighting up more and more of the area. This area, most of the lighting comes from the interior, so it's flowing out to here. But I do have bits of lighting like down underneath these, down underneath that one. So there is some very small amounts of lighting. I am trying to work on lighting up my areas a bit more. My shop actually got blown up in the shopping district because, I'll be honest, I'm not the best about lighting up my areas. I go for very aesthetic looking lighting and hiding it as best I can because I don't like the look of torches just everywhere. I also don't like the look of lanterns just everywhere. I have to have like a reason for them being there. So, I'm just a danger to myself and others. At least my areas are. Okay, and there we go. A bit more of the overgrown feel just coming into here. Now this feeling is going to expand as I do more of the pathway going through the area, because there's going to be a pathway going, well, it's going to come in from here, and it's going to mainly go up into this guy, and then I want to have a bit of the path that goes off this way. Now this is going to go to the mausoleum that's going to be over here, the other pumpkin patch, and this pumpkin patch. But I think that's where I'm going to leave this episode. I've actually done quite a bit. I've got in a new pumpkin patch, kind of been a little bit all over the place, but we did this interior bit. We've done the roofing in this, or the ceiling in this, and then we did kind of the front design. Now I'm going to copy this to the back whenever I get time. I'm going to copy this all the way around because this thing is very just symmetrical all around. So that's going to be copied over onto this side, so we can keep the overgrown effect going all the way around the greenhouse bit. And next episode, I think we're going to focus on some trees and the other pumpkin patch. And then, of course, you know, if the feeling strikes me, I may do more of the interior. The interior is going to be a small chip away project as I go through everything, because I'm also going to need more moss to do all of this. I really feel like the two farms I need to do inside my starter base is a moss farm, a small one, and a sea pickle farm. Because, oh my gosh, if I don't need both types of moss, and sea pickles all the time. But that will be all for this episode. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye! Oh my gosh. The amount of rain this area gets is going to drive me absolutely crazy.